Hey, 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 I'm back. So now I'm waiting on Blair. We got another topic we're going to talk about today. Let me see if I can add her in.
Here we go.
Hey,
Girl, I love your hair.
girl, I got to do something different, girl. Got to
That's
get them something
crazy.
a little different. Let me
You
stop
so funny.
acting crazy.
Look at Dion. Hey, Dion.
Hey, Dion.
Well, I
Woo!
guess I'll um I'll start since I dropped it on us right quick.
You sure did.
So, we were talking yesterday after we had our live and just to kind of update everybody as they're joining in. But we were just talking about, the things that we discussed. Some of those things came up as we were talking. I mean, that's just how it happened. That's just how God used us. But this morning, well, we'd actually discussed talking about moving past hurt. But this morning, when I was in prayer, I specifically thought about the word offense. And so, just to define that word and to get a clearer picture, because I love to define words when I feel something just kind of drop in my spirit or when I feel like something just keeps coming up again and again and again. But as it's defined, annoyance or resentment brought about by a perceived insult to or disregard for oneself or one's standards of or principles. So lo and behold, insulting. I mean, it makes you feel horrible. It goes against your standards, your principles that you have set, your morals, your values, whatever it may be, when a person offends. But in addition to that, while I was praying, and the reason why you see all this light in my glass is I have my laptop. Psalm 101. I heard it as clear as day, and it's so interesting how God truly speaks, especially when you really want to hear from him. Because I'm sitting there, I'm literally in the carpool line. I look up the word offense. It was so funny because Bailey read the definition when I wrote it down. She had to read it. So she read it out loud. And I immediately went to Psalm 101 when I got out of that carpool line. And this is what it says. This is the New King James Version. It says, I will sing of mercy and justice to you, O Lord. I will sing praises. I will behave wisely in a perfect way. Oh, when will you come to me? I will walk within my house with a perfect heart. I will set nothing wicked before my eyes. I hate the work of those who fall away. It shall not cling to me. A perverse heart shall depart from me. I will not know wickedness. Whoever secretly slanders his neighbor, him I will destroy. The one who has a haughty look and a proud heart, him I will not endure. My eyes shall be on the faithful of the land, that they may dwell with me. He who walks in a perfect way, he shall serve me. He who works deceit shall not dwell within my house. He who tells lies shall not continue in my presence. Early I will destroy all the wicked of the land, that I may cut off all the evildoers from the city of the Lord. Booyah. I didn't write
No, you didn't.
that. God did. um, Nor did I search for that. You know, it was just like Psalm 101. I kept hearing it, Psalm 101, Psalm 101. And I hadn't even gone into prayer like deeply as I thought I would, as I thought that I was. I really thought that I was going to be like interceding, praising, and worshiping when really God was just, expecting me to listen. That's all he wanted was me to listen at that very moment. And I hadn't even shared that particular scripture. I told Tanya about the scripture, but we hadn't gone over it yet because we just, hopped on the phone. But, just confirming what we were talking about yesterday, when you're offended, what can possibly happen to the offender when things like that happen, especially if your hands are clean and you're walking in integrity, you're walking in godliness, and your heart is pure. It's just so different how God responds to us when we walk in humility, understanding that. he's all seeing, all knowing, and he has our back. When you snotting and crying and upset about it, that's one thing about God. He asks us to be honest with him.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're angry, tell him you're
Yep.
angry. If you don't know how to get past your emotions, tell him, God, I don't know how to get past my emotions. But, it's just so amazing and so powerful, just how he's been speaking to us. The people that have been coming to us and sharing their stories, from a completely different place of, oh, this person did this person did that. It's not coming across that way. It's like it's a lot of offense and disappointment, and
Mm-hmm.
some people are just blatantly hurt.
Yeah.
Some people are blatantly hurt. So, and not just with the situation that we were talking about on yesterday, but some people reaching out to us about situations that they're experiencing, period, and that some of the things that we discussed, is resonating with them. But I wanted to share that just to kind of kickstart our conversation, on our live. And chime on in, Tanya. I know it's heavy.
I guess for
Heavy.
I guess for me, what I would say is, um, for all of us, and it's not one particular situation or situationship.
I love
You like when
to
I
say
say that? it's not it's not just one particular one. We all endure things in our life where we trusted a certain person or people, and we come under attack. And so, what is it that we do when that trust is lost, right? And it brings us hurt. It's painful. It's painful when somebody deceives you. It's painful, when you come under attack, or even people, your friends come under attack, and it hurts you too, because you don't want to see them go through that. And especially when you know who those people are and the type of hearts that they have, right? Um, this is one thing that I've learned to do, and sometimes not as well as others, but acknowledge how to move past it, acknowledge the pain, acknowledge
yeah,
the hurt.
yeah,
Most of us will will acknowledge it in different ways. And what I mean by that, some people will be very disappointed, other people will be angry, other people will be sad, you know just a range of different emotions. And what I say to that is, acknowledge it and accept it. Acknowledge, if you in this moment you're angry, acknowledge that you're actually angry about it. You know what I mean? Acknowledge that. If you're
that's
sad
good.
about it, acknowledge, accept it, accept the emotions that you're actually feeling. Because once you can accept it, that you're actually feeling that way, you can then begin to move on past that, right?
That's
You can't move on if you never accept this is truly the way you're feeling. You just
true.
can't, right? So, in there's no time frame. Excuse me. There's no time frame from how long it should take you to move past it. It really depends on that person's emotional intelligence,
Mm-hmm.
and what the how deep the pain was. You know, it
Mm-hmm.
really just depends. But I can say, and I'll share this. And this is where I learned this from. When I was going through my divorce, I had to learn to accept, because I went through a range of emotions. I went from being, happy to sad, angry, pissed off, all of that. And the only way that I knew to get through that was to actually own up to, at that moment, if,
Yeah.
I could have been in a moment where I just felt like crying, and I just cried. And I allowed myself to just do that. Be in the moment of doing that. Be in the moment of feeling, angry. And
Mm-hmm.
I would go to God and say, God, I don't want to feel like this anymore. But I didn't rush it either. You know what I
That's
mean? When you go through something that's hurtful, we oftentimes we want to rush past, you know, the hurt and try to move on to get back to normalcy. And it's not healthy to do that. It really isn't.
Mm-hmm.
And the best way that I was able to overcome and get through, you know, going through a divorce was to be able to accept those moments where I would just get angry because maybe I heard something and it was a flashback and I got
Yeah.
angry. And or one day I was just sad. I would think about something and I felt guilty. And I
Mm-hmm.
allowed myself to feel all of those feelings. And but each step of the way, don't get me wrong, I asked for God's help. Help me to be
Yes.
able to move past this. And
Amen.
eventually I was able to get to that point. And guess what? Now if I talk about my divorce, you know, I'm not angry, I'm not crying, I'm not sad. I can just tell you, hey, this is what happened to me. And I know that I'm truly over it because it doesn't bring an emotion to me. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Um, so that's the way that I actually am able to move past an offense. Um, is and ask God to help me forgive.
That's
That
what's so
that I've been in situations where something was done wrong to me and it was presented as if I had done it and I didn't, and I was angry and taken back about it, and it took me a while to like recover. And finally I told God, I'm gonna forgive these people. I'm gonna forgive them. Help me to forgive them, and I'm done. And
important.
as soon as I was to do that and I did it, and I made peace with it and I was fine, girl, God changed the whole situation around.
Yeah.
He just
Yes, he
changed it
will.
around. So um, you know, that's really how I deal with this. I'm not sure
Mm-hmm.
about anybody else. Or
Mm-hmm.
Blair, you know, what's your process? What's your process of be able to move past an offense?
So with me, it is a little different because I'm a lot more introverted than you.
No. Mm. Yes.
We've determined that.
Yes.
So my process is a bit different, but similar in so many ways too. So normally, when I experience offense, a lot of the times, what I used to do was kind of mask it and not deal with it, not talk about it, and just kind of wake up happy the next morning like it never happened, and then it would fester. It would fester and it would fester and it would fester, and eventually I would like break down, because I wasn't really taught to, describe my emotions or really talk about how I was feeling. The communication was off. So I had to truly learn how to, first of all, recognize and be able to say, I'm offended, and say, I don't like what you did to me, or I don't like how that made me feel, because I had this thing where I didn't want people to be mad with me. I never wanted anybody to be upset with me, even if they did me wrong. And sometimes I still kind of struggle with that a little bit here and there, but not as much. I'm a lot more vocal now about my feelings. I have no problem saying,
Mhm.
this is what I think, this is how I'm feeling, or you did this to me anymore. And, it's very healthy, for
Mhm.
me because of how I was. And I don't overdo it, but I do feel like that's important for a person, who is that way, that has a hard time saying, hey, I've been offended, or communicating, or even confronting situations, because I really didn't like confronting. I didn't like confrontation at all. I was very uncomfortable with it. I didn't know how to talk to people about, what I was feeling. And a lot of times it was brushed under the rug, and I would continue to be hurt over and
Mhm.
over and over again. And just to kind of give a scenario, I was a part of a ministry, where I learned a lot of things and found out that, a lot of stuff was going on in that ministry that was very, very crazy, and I was, very close with a lot of people there. And that offense, and I was talking to Tanya about this earlier, but that offense caused me to not go to church for a while. I'm talking about some years. I didn't trust a pastor. I didn't trust. If you kept saying, "Oh, I'm minister so and so," and you just, over the top, with the word, and over the top with what God say, and the Holy Spirit said this and all that stuff, I was shutting you off. I was shutting you down. I was shutting you out of my life, because I'm like, here you go with your extra preachy stuff, and you toe up from the floor up on the inside and won't admit, people who don't
Mm-hmm.
admit that they have faults, and people who don't admit that they're not perfect, are some of the worst people. They hurt more people than anybody I've ever known or come in contact with. Those are like the habitual offenders. Hey, Cheryl. Cheryl just logged in. Those are like your habitual offenders. But so now how I process it is, normally I go to that person now and I talk to them and I tell them how I feel. Also, forgiveness is very, very, very huge for me. I never really had much of a problem with forgiveness, because, like I said, I would try to move past things quickly and like forget about it and act like nothing happened. But now, with that process, I really, really, make sure that I go to God in everything. With when I'm angry, when I'm hurt, when I don't feel like it,
Mm-hmm.
whatever the case may be, I try to go to God with every single thing, because I was in a situation recently where I was so closed off, and so wrapped in my situation and what was going on around me, I was completely distracted, and I really did get to a point where I couldn't pray. I didn't know how to even get into the presence of God. Not that I didn't know how, but it's just that the circumstance caused me to feel so bad about what I was going through that I couldn't press in, just
Mm-hmm.
being honest. And some days I would just sit there, and I'm a writer. I love to journal when I'm praying. I love to journal, um, whenever I'm hearing from God, and whenever I just have an idea or whatever. And I had gotten very far away from that. I probably wrote maybe 6 times. That's a lot. I mean, that's totally different from me writing every day to like six
Mm-hmm.
times in like almost 3 years. It was affecting me on the inside, and then it started projecting even in my health with different things that was going on. And that just goes to show how much, offense can really take a toll on you, and really distract you and take you from that place in God, to really be able to press in and hear from Him, and is not to become weary in the process, or to believe that you can't move from it, because you can. And, just like the scripture says, greater is He that is in me than he that is in the world. So God can conquer anything, any feelings, any emotions, any offense, any hurt, whatever it may be. But you have to trust Him. And that's another thing. So the process, acknowledging, we talked about forgiveness. Number 3, trusting God.
Mm-hmm.
You have to trust Him through the process, even when you feel like He's not moving. Because although we go through these emotional states of mind, and it may take you a couple months, it may take you a couple years, depending on how heavy the offense is and who the offender is, it's a process. But
Mm-hmm.
you have to trust it, and not become so bogged down with what you're going through that you want to throw your hands up and give up, because you never want to, stay in that place. But there's a time and a season for everything. So your emotions are valid. That's what we're not taught. It's like, oh, you whining about it too much. Oh, you doing this too much. Oh, stop that. Oh, well, now you're not eating. Your emotions are valid,
Mm-hmm. Yes, it
you
is.
know, and that's just how it is. But just moving on past those points, any other points? I know we have a few more things we can probably discuss. I can't get it out.
I was gonna
But
say
past that.
you always want to have a couple of good friends, because the other piece of it too is, which I didn't think about, but now I know, talk it out. Like,
Yeah.
if you're able to talk it out, because you know what? When you're able to actually talk it out with a good friend, they may give you
Mm,
a different perspective, right? You're in it. You're like so deep in it, you may not be able to see it, right? But if you can talk it out, you
that's
know,
good.
that helps, because guess what? Each and every time you're able to talk about it and it's with less emotion, you know
Yes.
that you're overcoming that situation, right? So, definitely, we want to add talking it out. And
Mm,
with somebody you trust, somebody that you trust, that is not going to just tell you what you want to hear, but tell you
yes.
the truth. That is the
Yeah.
person that you want to, because they might tell you something you really don't want to hear, but it's the truth. So you need that as well.
That's right.
And the other thing I was going to say about, taking it to God, when when I'm angry, I tell God I'm angry. I'm mad about such and such, 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 such.
Me
Or
too.
I'm, I'm hurt by this, or I feel really sad
Yes.
by this,
Yeah.
help me. I talk to God like he is, like I talk to my real dad. Daddy, look, I don't like this. That's
Yep.
just my connection with him. And I'm not afraid to talk to him,
That's
because
it.
he already knows our heart. But
Right.
it's more refreshing to speak it out when you talk to him. So, and he will show you the way as well. But it also helps when you had a good friend and say, look, this is the situation, um, and give them the situation from A to Z. They're going to
Hmm.
give you a different perspective
That's
on it, some things that maybe you hadn't seen, and you actually trust and value their opinion. That's
mm,
one of the things I would say that we probably need to add to the list, right?
mm,
Because I can just tell you, as Blair and I become friends, we've had a whole bunch of different crazy situations. Is different situations, and when we start talking it out to each other,
hmm.
we can give each other a different perspective, right?
That's
Or
right.
look at it this way, or something comes to us and we talk it out, and it's like, you know what, I didn't think about this.
That's so
So,
true.
you know you, we didn't have some crazy, we didn't have
Yes, we
roller
done talked each
coaster.
other off the ledge. Y'all don't know.
What
we,
did you say?
I said we've talked each other off the ledge. We really discussed some stuff, and that's why it's different when you have godly counsel, though.
Yeah.
So different because she may be able to hear something that I can at the moment because I'm acting out of my emotions and vice versa. That's just a connection that we have with each other and with God, that we take it seriously. So we can kind of look at each other and be like, wait, 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 hold up, pump your brakes. No, you tripping. I need you to chill out. That's how we talk to each other for real. She'd be like, no, you're not. She'll text me in a heartbeat. No, you're not doing
Exactly.
that.
Go sit down. Go sit down.
She do. She
Go
do.
sit down.
Because y'all have to understand that, I'm a creative by nature, and I'm also a person who overthinks. So Tanya Tanya gives me that balance. She'll be like, no, Blair, we don't have to do that. Just, or she'll tell me, just do it, and that's how I am. But once again, just confirming that it really helps to have that godly counsel, that friend, whoever it may be, to give you some sound advice, and a person who truly hears from God, has a relationship with God. And that is super, super important. So we've actually talked about recognizing that offense. We've talked about giving it to God, hearing from him, putting it all out there on the line. We talked about having that godly counsel. These are some good nuggets of information, and this is based upon our experiences.
Mm-hmm.
Getting over some things. We've had some heavy stuff happen from divorce. You know, friendships that have ended, business relationships, you name it. We've experienced a lot of it for this very reason, though, so we can explain it and we can say, hey, this is what works, And it's not because we read some book and boom, it's just magical, it happened. No, this happened in our lives. This is how we know to handle these situations. And I believe that the points that we've given today are extremely powerful, can help any person, man, woman, child, to really get over offense. And I wanted to share this too. We've been reading from this prayer book. It's very common. A lot of people use it. I found my grandmother. She passed away last year, God rest her soul. But this book, it's called Prayers. The name of the ministry is Christian Word. Yes, Christian Word Ministries. And the guy who wrote this prayer book he's actually passed away. But when I tell you, if you don't know how to pray, or if you just stuck, because sometimes we get stuck as believers, as mature believers, and you just don't know what to do, this is a great resource. It actually teaches you how to be an intercessor, not just how to pray, but how to intercede for others and yourself. The website, if you want to share it, Tanya, is christianword.org. It's free.
Okay.
You can order the book for free. You can download that book for free. It's a powerful tool. We use the prayers as we speak. There's some things that we pray because, we were at that place at one point where we were like, Lord, Tanya, I don't know what to think. I don't know what to do. And we were just like, I don't know. We know we need to pray. That's what we were saying to each other. We know that. And so I remembered that book. And now they even have an app that you can download.
Mm-hmm.
So I remembered that book and I said, Tanya, I remember it being so powerful, like when I was really learning how to pray and I was just kind of going through that stage of my life. And I told her, I was like, I remember it, I remember things just happening, and
And that's the book that we were praying, that we've been using to pray. So Evelyn, like the prayer that I gave yesterday's live, it came from that
yeah,
book. So download the app. I'm telling y'all,
it's powerful.
it's powerful. We have been using those prayers out of that book, and God has been moving, like seriously, like
Yeah.
with a vengeance, quickly,
Yes. Very
quickly.
quickly. I don't know. We need to get some T-shirts that say "quickly" because that's been like our word.
That's our main theme.
That's
Y'all
been,
don't know. Y'all don't know. Y'all don't understand.
telling you. Look, Cheryl says she's gonna use that and share it with her ladies in her group.
Okay.
It's powerful, Cheryl. When I tell you, and I've seen this book float around for years since about it was before my daughter was born, and she was born in 2011. So it had to be about 2007 or 8 when I received it, but it was written, I think, in 37.
Oh wow.
Realized it. I know. So it's powerful. That ministry actually prays over them. Seriously. So get that book. It's powerful. Pray over your kids, whatever. It has specific topics, specific things that you can pray about. It's amazing. So get that. We've been using that tool, and we lift you guys up in prayer too when you ask. So
Mm-hmm. We use that book. I'm telling you, when I say it works, that book works. I mean, it really does. It
it does.
basically started confirming some stuff that I said early on. And that was just with Blair, like just telling her, this is what I'm feeling. Just
Yep.
watch, just wait and watch. This stuff is gonna happen. And Blair's like, Tanya, I just know. I just had this feeling, and it actually did. It came to fruition. But that in that book, I'm telling y'all, there was, I
Amazing.
think we talked about this before. There was a couple of weeks we were just like, do you see what's happening? And I said he was moving very quickly. But in each and every single day, we were like, get on the phone and pray together.
Yes,
And we were using like multiple prayers out of that book.
we
And
were.
we still do. Like,
Yes, we do.
we still
And
do.
it's wonderful because what it does, it's just like each prayer is similar to the Our Father prayer where it reverence God, it gives you it says who he is in each prayer. It reference scripture. It's
Mm-hmm.
always going to reference the word of God, and it's always going to pray for someone else. And you're going to ask for forgiveness while you're praying these prayers as well, and you're constantly telling God who he is and just speaking his word over yourself and over whoever you're praying for. And that's truly what Jesus was teaching us with that prayer, with the Our Father prayer, is to pray that way. And it gives you basically outlines of praying that way and how to, and it'll become a part of you, because you start realizing this is how we ought to pray.
Mm-hmm.
And you start being able to grow in prayer and become stronger in that area of your life. Because with both of us, to be honest with you, we can pray. We definitely can pray. Tanya and I have both been in the church forever, and we do know how, but we had gotten to a point where we were so exhausted with so many things that was happening. It was just like, what else? Okay, what can we do now? Like what
What are we gonna do?
like
What are we gonna do?
and that's just the
Uh-huh.
honest truth to how we were feeling. And it's powerful, get it in your life. And especially and your kids, like your teenagers,
Mm-hmm.
it's wonderful to have them to that point where they can pray like that. Going into adulthood, they'll have tools that a lot of us didn't have at that
Yeah.
age.
And it's some
It's
prayers in there for your children too.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
It sure is. It's wonderful. But I guess we talked about more than what we said once again, but
We ain't gonna never stay on topic. Whatever. I don't think it's too much. We try, but it's too much. It's
it's
we do
worth
that
it.
because we try to stay on topic, but we love talking to y'all. We appreciate all of you joining in and participating. We hope that something that we said will actually, if hopefully something that we said you needed. Um,
Yeah.
Maybe not today, but in the future. And so we don't mind coming on and just kind of sharing. We've gotten to. I'm gonna say this quickly. With the show, um, we know that the Queen's Power Show is about for women and for us to be able to share our experiences as women. But with that, it has unleashed something else in us just to be able to come on and share, things that, um, just everyday things that we are truly experiencing that
Yeah.
crosses, men and women. And especially when something, comes across and it's been hurtful, for, people that we know and love. We're gonna come out and speak about it because we ain't scared. We ain't scared to talk about it. We try to keep it PG here, but if it as you're watching this, for people who watch the replay, as you're watching this, it could be, and what we're finding that, things that we're talking about is like right on time for some people. They needed that.
Yes.
So
Yes.
truly, it really is. It's not about us. It is a blessing to be able to, speak on something that will wind up being a blessing or a confirmation for the people that we know and love that watch this. So this is the reason why we're doing it. Normally, stuff is always changing. Normally, Blair go live on her page, I go live on my page. But right now in this season, we don't know how long it's gonna last. Me and her are coming together, so we can, bring some of the word to you and some of the stuff that we've experienced and how we've overcome that. We don't know. I don't think we're doing this tomorrow or Sunday, but like Monday, huh?
You want us to pick it up Monday? Oh, I'm going out of town
You be
Monday.
out of town Monday, so I don't know. Maybe we come on Sunday after church. I don't know.
Okay.
We'll see. We'll play it by
We'll work it
ear.
out.
I know we'll work it out, but I think what we'll probably try to do from now on, as we're led, is probably Monday, at least Monday through Friday, to come on and and talk about, because and this is stuff, just to say this, we don't just throw a topic up in the air and be like, okay, we're gonna talk about this. All the stuff that Blair's talked about on her page, that I've talked about on my page before, it's something that was on our hearts to actually talk about. So we didn't just like, what? What are we talking about? It's something that, was truly like on our minds and our hearts to talk about. And then God has used that as a blessing, for other people who needed it at that time. So it really isn't about me and Blair, even though we're going to make y'all laugh on here too. But
Of course.
it really isn't about us. It's just, you know, at this point in time, I feel like God is moving us, especially with because of the show, to even like talk out more, speak up
Yes.
more, and because it's a lot of people hurting. It's a lot of people hurting. It's a lot of people that are going through different situations, and
Mhm.
not everybody wants to talk about it. So
That's
you
true.
you know what, you don't have to talk about it. You can come listen to us and get your word, or maybe a confirmation, um,
Mhm.
and hopefully that will bring you healing. Definitely use that book, that red prayer book. It works. It works
Yes.
for real. Um,
Mm.
those prayers we've almost used, maybe almost all of them already. We've used the majority of them. I'm telling you, it works, man. I'm so glad Blair
It's,
told me about
uh,
that book. But
it's awesome.
yeah, it is awesome. So I love everybody. Thank you for participating. Thank you for being here with us.
Yes.
We'll be back on probably maybe Sunday. Um, Monday, I'll probably go live on my own because she has something all day. And then we'll be back on together, I guess, Tuesday. Um,
Yeah.
yep. So we'll continue to do this in our show. This is really, I'm going to say this.
Mm.
Y'all, God has really pushed me because y'all know I didn't hardly ever do any go lives. I really didn't. And then really, I mean, and y'all really don't know. Blair and I, for a while, kept saying we need to just go live, and we wouldn't do it. We just
Yeah.
wouldn't do it. And then we'd be like,
we,
okay, tomorrow, and it's just
we would schedule the time and still wouldn't do
and
it.
still wouldn't go live, right? But I think that the part of our greatness is doing this. And I know for sure with us being emboldened to do the show. Have a great weekend, Evelyn. Love
Yeah.
you. Um,
Yeah.
with us being able to do the show, it's something else has been unleashed where we are emboldened just to come out and just talk to you guys, you ladies, you kings and queens. Sorry about that. And I love it. Like
Yeah.
I'm is if now I'm loving it, but back then, no. Go live. What I'm gonna say? Now I don't
I
even have
know.
to worry. We don't have to worry about what we gonna say. Like it's just placed on our heart to like we need to talk about X, Y, and Z,
Mm.
and about a topic, and that's what we've been doing, right?
That's
So we
right.
don't even have to before. We didn't have to before we be like, what we gonna talk about?
Not
What time you gonna
more.
go live? Now it's like, okay, we're going live together.
Hey,
Uh,
Alicia.
hey Alicia, hey Eddie. Now it's like God places this on our heart, and we're like, okay, we're gonna try to keep the 1 o'clock time frame, and now we're going live together.
Yep.
As if that's not enough, because we go live on Wednesdays
Yep.
for the show, but it's all good. It's all
It's awesome.
good. So, you have any last words?
Not really. Besides, we'll see y'all Sunday. I mean, this has been awesome. We've really been taking things to a whole new level, and she's so right about like the subject matter. It's literally like sometimes we might be messaging each other, or it might be a phone conversation, and we're like, "Ooh, we need to talk about that."
Mhm.
It's been totally different whether it's for the Queen's Power Show or if it's something we want to just kind of candidly come on and speak about. But at the end of the day, it's not about us, you
Mm-mm.
know. It's not, and it's truly a blessing to be able to be a blessing to other people. I mean, it's been it's been phenomenal.
It is. It
That's
feels
that's
good.
yes,
It warms my heart to be able to now do this, and it was all in God's timing, right?
it
To
is.
be able to come out and speak and do what we do, and especially for the show, is needed.
Mm-hmm.
It just warms my heart. It warms my heart out of participation, out of the support, out of love that we're getting from doing this. And, you know, like I said before, um, if y'all have a topic y'all want us to talk about, you just need to tell us. We don't mind. I mean, no, but seriously, if it's something that's been on your heart, you don't think that you can talk about it, and you want us to, just let us know. We'll do it.
That's right.
We will, and we will definitely do that. So I think we've been on here longer than yesterday.
Oh goodness. Oh boy.
I know.
Okay.
We
Well, we'll talk to y'all later then.
Bye. Talk to you Sunday. Love you all. Have a great weekend and nice holiday.
Yes. Enjoy yourself. Be safe.
All right. Bye.